Hey, ARESxGOD here, and it's that time of the week where you have to talk about Vanitas, and yet again we had an awesome episode, fun, but also very sad at the same time, showing for Astolfo, for John, even a glimpse into Vanitas' tragic past. Maybe we get some snippets of information. But yeah, overall, this episode was full of tragedies in the past, all of them just meeting in Jevodan and affecting the future. And time is running out. Will they be okay? I don't know. So let's get into this episode and talk about it. Now, right at the beginning of the episode, we have that inner conversation, so to say, with John and Vanitas, with her still struggling with that brainwashing. It was so ingrained into her. No matter what Vanitas was saying, I have to kill Chloe. No, even if she didn't kill a single person in Jevodan, she's still cursed. But I love Vanitas, his aura, so to say, how he's able to break through here, even in this case, slowly and slowly cracking that wall or that brainwashing, however you wanna call it, with telling her Chloe has not killed a single person in Jevodan. We know from previous episodes that Chloe's main reason for being has been to protect her own people, even if they try to kill her, were evil towards her, treated her as nothing more than just a cursed person and everything along those lines. And in this case also we have John's own trauma, tragic past affecting her, not wanting to go against that bro brainwashing and wanting other people to pay for her mistakes, even if they weren't mistakes. This is how she has been conditioned, even saying and admitting finally, I don't want somebody that I care to die again, even you, Vanitas. And I feel like that was a very important moment, and just like in Vanitas fashion, he just proceeds to laugh. And I love Vanitas so much. I will not die, at least not before you, and I promise you, if you go out of control, I will kill you. And telling her I love you again. I love that moment very, very much, and the way they made Vanitas look over there. And he was able to break through to her, what do you truly wish? And finally she was able to admit, not just to Vanitas, but more importantly to herself, that she needs help. And she finally opened up to the world again. Please help me and Chloe also. And that moment was so good for both of them, but mainly for John. Hopefully John is gonna start a bit getting past her trauma, not fully, but taking the first steps. And throughout this episode she did pretty good, even towards the end of the episode, helping Vanitas, but we will talk about that. Now we had the fun moments. Man, I like the chibi cartoony type they do at some scenes in the episodes, with Vanitas getting his revenge, kicking no now, bickering a bit, even slapping John, waking him up. Who's to blame over here? Wanted to get his book back, and John was the one that knew. But before we get to the book, we had again another tragic past, and I liked that they gave Astolfo quite a bit of screen time in this episode, and kind of made me understand him a lot more. I just had him pegged as just a fanatic, insane, love crazed murder. So he's a bit of those things, but at least now we have the reason, not justification, but the reason as to why he is the way he is right now. We see a flashbacks with his past. I think that was his father, just putting that pressure that parents or older generation put on the younger ones. It's your duty to kill vampires. It's been handed down throughout generations, and they do have a point also after this flashback, but they also don't have a point, because you can just blanket cover an entire race or an entire type of animal, race of people, monsters, or anything along those lines, just because some of them are bad. And this applies to many things, not just in anime, just in general. You can't, if somebody does something bad, doesn't mean their entire people are evil. And we have that pressure put, sort of like another form of brainwashing, especially on young minds. But in this case, it kind of went even further beyond with what happened with Astolfo, because him and his sister, and I gotta say, his sister was so cute, and then it made me sad and angry what happened to her. And even Astolfo was a very kind, sweet child. He didn't want to take part into that vampire hunter world. His mother was there to comfort him. Hey, you don't have to do it. You're a kind kid. Fighting is not for you. And we see a completely different Astolfo in the present or future, however you wanna call it, compared to how he was when he was a kid. But we find the reason with him and his sister finding a kid vampire. I don't know how old he was, but at least he had the body of a child hurt. And at his first instinct was to call somebody over to take care of the vampire, because they all knew vampires are all bad and stuff like that. But his sister, being the kind-hearted soul she was, she wanted to help him. He decides to help the vampire, and we have the most powerful spell in Vanitas so far, or probably the cutest spell so far in the series, while they're dressing the wound of that vampire. She just says, I can cast a spell to make it better. And I was like, is she some sort of super powerful magician? But no, it's such a cute and wholesome moment with her saying an incantation and kissing the vampire's hand where the wound was, and hey, it's all better. Even they didn't know how to react, and they started laughing, forgetting about the pain. This is my weakness in stories like this, in anime, in movies, in anything, where you have just a pure innocent child or a pure innocent character, anything along those lines, where the only bad thing about them is that there's too much good inside them, and then tragedy strikes. But I will get to that. We have them slowly bonding with that vampire, becoming friends, sneaking out of the house, just kid stuff, spending time together, talking. But that vampire slowly wanted to find out more information, and Astolfo, still being a kid, very naive, gave out information about his family, his house, sort of like that vampire was casing him and his house a bit, and even got the notion that vampires and humans can get along, not all of them are evil. It was written all over the place what was coming next, and instantly it swapped from that wholesome scenes at the beginning in the flashback. We have that fucker slaughtered Astolfo's entire family, his sister also, and that's my weakness. Like I said, pure innocent characters, and they made her so cute, and then they killed her right after. I hate you for doing this, Vanitas. Don't. This is my don't do this, please. It gets to me. Stuff like this just hurt me probably more than some other things. But yeah, and we also see, I'm not trying to justify what that vampire did, but he kind of became a product of their society. This says a lot about society, the meme. But we found out that his family also was killed by chasseurs, like the paladins. Maybe, I don't know if Astolfo's family was involved, but he did the same thing that was done to him with revenge. So the vicious cycle, revenge begets revenge, and so on. And that was the moment that Astolfo just broke down, completely going mad. We see the moment he changed from the pure innocent kid he was to the deranged individual he is now, just having that tunnel vision, killing all of the vampires because of his past trauma. I don't know if we're gonna see that vampire maybe at some point. I would really like for Astolfo to get his own revenge, even with what we just said about revenge. I don't know, have we seen him before now, that vampire, maybe in his adult form, and I'm just not connecting the dots. Don't tell me if you have read the source material. But I really do kind of hope that somebody kills that vampire if nobody has up so far. I would kind of like Roland to be the one to help Astolfo in this case, or maybe even Vanitas. Or it'd be more poetic if Noe is the one that helps Astolfo with his trauma. That'd be interesting seeing how much he goes after Noe even in this episode. But yeah, even after that, him waking up in the present again, just pumping himself full of steroids, deciding to go after Noe. We have Dante and Johan coming in. The Vanitas just grabs them and tells, hey, help me look for the book. We don't have any more time. Chloe is merging with her own world, so basically everything is going to shit unless we find the book. He even wants to use the engine to save Chloe. We're gonna have to wait probably for next episode if he's gonna be able to do it. But what I liked in this episode, we finally got a glimpse with Vanitas, because the engine didn't start at the beginning, because it needed another power source, and we see that the power source of the engine was divine tear stone, kind of the same crystal that is tied on the book, and we see a flashback with Vanitas probably talking to the Blue Moon vampire and somebody else there, telling him about divine tear stone. So yeah, I'm happy we got that flashback, but now I have even more questions, and especially about something else that he said, but we'll get to that. Now, Vanitas uses his hand to power up the engine, so I think he probably has a tear stone implanted in his hand, or something along those lines, that he was able to power up the engine. It clicked for him when he heard the tear stone. Again, more and more questions about Vanitas' past. Chloe started to lose herself, even actually tried to go after them. We have Jan stepping in to help them, keep Chloe back. Did not actually try to kill her this time, which, like I said, the beginning of the episode helped Chloe. My bad. Chloe also, but Jan quite a lot. And like I said, Vanita says something even more curious, because he talks to Jan Jax and tells him that Chloe intended to die after everything was over, and saying he knows that face. Could he have referred to the Blue Moon vampire? Could the Blue Moon vampire kind of did something along those lines, dying for a particular reason, or choosing death? I kind of feel like that was or at least he alluded to that, didn't really say who he was referring when he saw that face before. But man, I have so many questions about Vanitas' past. We're so many episodes in and we still don't really have a proper answer as to what happened to the Blue Moon vampire, the book, the past, the teacher. Hopefully after Jevodan we're gonna get into the main plots of, even though Jevodan has been so fun. I have so many questions that are burning a hole through my head, but hopefully we will get there. Now we have Noe telling Jan to try and talk to Chloe a bit, calm her, bring her out a bit if he can, and Astolfo in his deranged mode actually cuts Jan on the back. Vanitas activates the engine. On the outside we had Roland and Oliver fighting those monsters that just refuse to die, and even they saying they're running out of time, and at some point they're gonna have to start killing the vampires. Noe versus Astolfo, we have the rematch again, and Astolfo's kind of getting the upper hand, so to say the least. It felt like he was having the Fate Servant Berserker power up. In a way, him just going completely berserk after Noe that trauma, and even more he got triggered when Noe was saying his name because of what that vampire told him. Hey, now nobody in your family is gonna say your name, so I am gonna say your name, kind of mocking him. And Noe unwillingly, while he was saying his name, was triggering his trauma more and more. And even John slowly realizing the reason why the automatons were made, so that Chloe could be killed by them, and him realizing that she actually really wanted to die. Now Vanitas activates the engine and does the same thing to Chloe that she did to Naenia, bringing her back into the real world, materializing her body again. Dante finds the book finally. We have John saving Vanitas from stuff crashing down with Chloe going after them. We have the emotional moment that I liked quite a lot. We all knew that John has a crush and he's in love with Chloe, but I feel like as per usual she's the only one that didn't knew, trying to talk to her, actually touching her, and I think he was burning from everything that was happening, telling her there's no way I'm gonna be able to do anything without you. And Chloe talking, saying I have to end it all, destroy this world so I can free John Jax. And that one just hit him like a truck. What would be the reason for me to do anything without you? And slowly bringing her back to her senses in a way. I think they're gonna be able to save them, because we even have John, after she saved Vanitas, with him having the book finally back in his hands. I hope he's gonna be able to clear Chloe's curse, maybe even John Jax. It's gonna be interesting what's gonna happen, but it feels like Jevodan is coming to its conclusion, maybe next episode or probably the one after that. And I just can't wait. I'm having so much fun with Vanitas. More people need to watch it, please. Especially the shenanigans, the serious moment also, and the art style is so it feels like a painting pretty much every scene. But yeah, I'm curious what you guys thought about the episode. What was your favorite moment? What do you think about that flashback with Vanitas and the Blue Moon vampire? Was he actually alluding at the face with death at her or somebody else? And what do you think is gonna happen with Astolfo? Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about the episode. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot, and you guys get the latest videos on the series that I follow. Almost at 100 subs, we need one more guy. Press that subscribe button. So I'll see you again in the next one. Keep enjoying Vanitas. Bye bye.